One Punch Man fans, this is Chris Bolts. I'm coming again with the cartoon that just keeps on giving. One Punch Man Season 3. Frankly, this entire season has been a complete and utter disappointment. I've been ranting about it all year, and others have been ranting about that. More on that in just a second. As you can see, last night's episode, or yesterday's episode, however you want to say that, only got a 2.2 out of 10. It is now trending above, just above episode 6, which is still the worst rated episode of the season. Episode 10 is the second worst, and it's not for lack of trying. They had thrown pretty much every type of neon filter into that episode, every type of speed filter off in there. You got bad animation, cut animation, shortcuts, cut scenes that make no sense. 30 minutes later, oh, the fight's already done now because you couldn't animate the entire episode and just call it Immortal Bloodbath. The entire episode couldn't be a fight between Zombie Man and the vampire. Okay, fair enough. It just was one bad thing after another. And come to find out, I didn't even realize this at the time, but apparently they went in there and completely changed. Now, I will not use the word censored because I don't think it's really censoring or anything like that, but they did change Zombie Man from smoking a cigarette to licking a lollipop. I thought this was a call out to Child Emperor, but apparently it is worse than that. This is just beyond stupid. And you can see right there, he's all covered in blood. There's a lot of violent scenes off in there, but they just would not go the extra mile to make it visceral. Things like this pissed off fans even more. And basically, they 4Kids Zombie Man. Now, if you guys are not familiar with 4Kids TV, let me familiarize you guys with that here. Here we have a scene of Sanji. Now, when One Piece first came over here to the States, it was brought over by a company called 4Kids TV. And 4Kids TV probably didn't know what property they had gotten themselves into, because when they saw that there were pictures of Sanji smoking, they went in there and changed it from a cigarette and changed it to a lollipop. No, this was it at the time. The song that 4Kids had also attached to One Piece was some weird wonky song as well. So there was a lot of changes that 4Kids had made to One Piece. And again, it was not censoring or anything like that. They were just trying to tailor it for a much younger audience because, again, they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. One Piece is definitely not kid-friendly, if you know what I mean. It's the same thing over here with One Punch Man. One Punch Man is not necessarily friendly. It is shonen, though. Well, if they are trying to make it shonen, they can make it more visceral. As I said in my video yesterday, that there's a lot of shonen anime that are absolutely visceral, have a lot of violent scenes, a lot of more adult-oriented content contained off in them. So they certainly could have done that. But that is not the point of this video as I'm making it right now. The point of this video is I wanted to go ahead and comment on a particular situation that is happening currently on Twitter right now with this fellow right here, Nicholas Light, who has a big subscriber count, 1.2 million subscribers, and covers a lot of anime content. And this guy right here, Henry Thurlow, who is an animator and works on One Piece. And you see the comment right there. Basically, the full comment that Nicholas Light had put out is this right here. Dear everyone, that work on the newest episode of One Punch Man Season 3. Never work on an anime again. You're a disgrace and should be ashamed of yourselves. Now, Henry Thurlow, of course, followed that up with unhelpful, uninformed, disrespectful take to artists who are probably right now working their asses off and pulling all-nighters to make sure the episodes make it to air on time. Animators work because they love the craft and it breaks their hearts when it doesn't turn well. Now, the reason why I'm looking at Nicholas Light's video is because I went over to his Twitter page and he actually deleted the tweet right here. This is the original response from Henry Thurlow, but Nicholas Light deleted it, which in effect means he bowed down to the mob. So we're going to go ahead and comment on that. But before I do comment on that, do make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, and leave a comment, post positive or negative, regardless of which one, as long as you're civil, because I do like reading your guys' comments. And if it is negative, I tend to also read those in earnest and try to respond back because I really do like the debate. So again, Nicholas Light bit the knee even after he said that he would not do so in his video. I encourage you guys to go in there and watch his video. I will link it in the description there. But he did come back with another response that says, I'm supposed to, the episodes are awful though. I'm not allowed to feel this way. I'm supposed to virtue signal because they pulled all-nighters, which I highly doubt for this latest episode. My tweet was targeting towards this episode, which was outsourced. But that doesn't matter to you, doesn't it? It's not my job to worry about all of this. It's my job to sit on my untalented ass and watch the anime. If I hate it, I hate it. If I like it, I like it. I don't need to know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm just a fan. I understand that I'm forever going to lose this war against artists and animators because you're all so blindly supportive of each other. You'll defend each other no matter what. But at the end of the day, I'm just a fan who thinks this season is equal to horseshit. No one put a gun to the director's head to make this season. He knew what he signed up for. He knew how people would react. It's not my fault, nor the fans' fault for feeling this way. We're tired. I 100% agree with that entire take right there. And I have been saying for the longest time that we need to stop not holding JC staff accountable. I read another tweet elsewhere, won't go into it right here, where they once again tried to blame Bandai Namco for this entire situation. I'm like, how do you keep blaming Bandai Namco for any of this when a lot of the decisions that are being made with regards to the animation is being made by JC staff? If indeed this episode was outsourced, that is a call by JC staff. That basically tells us that they didn't have enough internal animators to work on One Punch Man, so they had to put them all out and send them elsewhere for someone else to animate them. They were talking about pulling all-nighters. Once again, that's a JC staff call. Bandai Namco isn't telling these studios, hey, you need to keep on working on this episode until you are done. No one also is saying that you shouldn't have to work until the last minute on the episode. Why was this shit done months ago or anything like that? I'm pretty sure there'll be some animators that come in and say, that's not how it works. That's not how it operates. Well, why not? Why isn't it that how that operates? Why do you have to wait until the last minute to get to put in work like this? Does that make sense to you? So I agree with each and every one of those points. Bandai Namco did not make JC staff sign on a dotted line to accept the contract. JC staff could have said no at any point in time and just said, this work is above our pay grade. We really don't have the staff to commit to this. Please find another studio to go ahead and get this work done. They didn't do that. They said they would take it on. And I always like to remind people that at the same time that One Punch Man was being released, they also released the excellent Reincarnated Daughter, which, by the way, if you didn't watch the episode yet, the latest episode, phenomenal episode. Really great tension, really great animation in this one. Go check it out. They also released Gacha Level 9999, another excellent anime that other people who have it on High Dive have said that it's really great. Nicholas Light had also did a reaction to a video of Gacha Level 9999. So they were able to commit resources to those two anime. Why couldn't JC staff commit adequate resources to One Punch Man Season 3, considering they knew that the popularity of this franchise, which, as far as I'm aware, is far more known than Reincarnated Daughter or Gacha Level 9999, which both made their debut this season, this year. So this idea that we have to take into consideration how these artists feel because they're up working their asses off, well, that's your goddamn job. You're supposed to do that. And if you don't like doing that kind of work, you shouldn't be off in the industry. If animators work because they love the craft, then they should look at shit and say, you know what? This looks like shit. We need to do better. We need to do better on this work. We've been making, in fact, if they have been working all this time and they know that criticism is coming in real time, why did they go in there and put in so many neon filters in this episode? Why did they take a step back from episodes 8 and 9? Now there's a lot of consternation between the episode 9. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I said episode 8 wasn't as good, but it did have that flashy flash fight, which everybody raved about. Why didn't they go in there and take the criticism that they got for the prior episodes, but then saw all the kudos they were getting for episodes 8 and 9, and even to some extent episode 5, even that a lot didn't like that one. That's another episode that I did like. Why didn't they take all that and say, okay, we understand what it is that is riling up the fan base. Let's not do that in episode 9. No, they didn't do that. They instead went in there and said, we love our neon filters. We love our speed filters. We love cutting corners with our animation. We love just putting out the shit that we put out. Let's go ahead and do that. There's no excuse for any of this. If these artists love their craft and it breaks their heart when it doesn't turn out well, then they should be open to criticism. How can we improve our craft? What is it that didn't turn out well? Well, of course, that didn't help out with Henry Thurlow, who then comes back and responds to Nicholas Light with a very snarky take. Streets are telling me you're a grifter I should ignore, but I'll answer once. The staff probably had unwinnable conditions from day one. Who gives a fuck? Few resources and strict 2 to 5K frame limits on the episodes. Okay, then work within those limits. Even with best intentions of hard work, they were doomed to a low middle quality product. I've seen low to middle quality productions. This is far below that. This is bullshit coming from Henry Thurlow, hoping that, hey, you know what? We'll just go back on the timed response of, it's Bandai Namco's fault. Again, as I made in a prior video that I made, Bandai Namco is simply the client. They had a bundle of money. They had a project that they wanted completed by October 12, 2025. They went to JC staff and probably some other studios and said, hey, here's the amount of money we have for this project. Here's the time frame that we need it by. Can you meet it? That's it. And if JC staff said, well, we can't meet those conditions, they should have said no. Instead, they said yes. And I always like to bring out my analogy, or not analogy is the wrong word. My aphorism that I think is attributed to Dr. Martin Luther King, but we'll go ahead and just say that it is him. He basically said, hey, if you are a janitor, then you need to be the best damn janitor that you can possibly be. It's the same right here with JC staff. Hell, if this is the amount of money that you've got, and the amount of time frame that you have, then you need to produce the best possible product with the money and time that you have. You should always put your best foot forward. You shouldn't give people shit. If you give people shit, they have the right to call out that shit. It's absolutely insane that people seem to think that because you do a job that you should automatically be given kudos. Here's another person right here. You know this person doesn't care about the staff or what they are going through. He's just farming engagement off of this situation. He's nothing but a clout chase. I mean, what clout is Nicholas Light trying to chase? What is he trying to chase here? He stated his opinion. He said it was shit. Most everybody who's watching One Punch Man thinks this show is shit. 3.8 episode 1, 3.6 episode 2, 3.5 episode 3, 3.2 episode 4, 3.7 episode 5, 1.4 episode 6, 2.4 episode 7, 6.7 episode 8, 6.7 episode 8, 5.7 episode 9, 2.2 episode 10. Why didn't this staff, if they're working up on this anime until the last possible minute, go back and look at these scores? And I'm pretty sure it's probably similar in Japan. Why didn't you go and look at the scores and say, you know something? Why is it episodes 8 and 9 scored the highest? Episode 5 is the third highest. Those are the 3 highest rated episodes. 5, 8, and 9. Why didn't you look at those episodes? Say, you know something? Well, I don't know why episode 1 is scored so high. So we'll take that back. Episodes 1, 8, and 9. Let's just be honest here. Episode 5 is probably better than 1. Why didn't you look at those episodes? Let's just throw out 1 and 5, and let's just keep it at 8 and 9. Why didn't you go and look at those episodes, see what was right about those episodes, read the reviews, and then go back and look at the other ones and then look at episode 10 and say, what can we do to make episode 10 better? They didn't do that. And again, as Nicholas Light said, it's not his job to sit there and handhold these artists. They're adults. They know what their jobs are. And you don't simply get to say, hey, you know what? Because my job, I care about my job, and we get upset when it doesn't go well. Well, it sure doesn't seem like it. It sure doesn't seem like it. It's like these guys are just complete and utter, totally ungrateful. And it goes to show that in today's day and age, just like what we went through with Star Wars, Star Trek, any type of other, like Indiana Jones, Marvel, DC, whole host of American properties where these entertainment studios start getting mad at the customers as opposed to looking at themselves with some introspection and saying, what is it that we did wrong? We're seeing it right here in the anime space where animators are attacking the fans. And frankly, you want to see your shit dry up real quick? Go ahead and keep attacking the fans. But frankly, and I'm just disappointed that Nicholas Light deleted that original post. He shouldn't have deleted it rather. Never bend the knee to your critics. All you're doing is just giving them more ammunition to shoot at you. But those are my thoughts on the issue. What do you guys think about all of this? Jump down in the comments and let me know what you think. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. All that stuff really does help me out. And remember, this is Chris Bolt signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.